Hello, everyone. Pastor Winston here. We're on this journey. Jesus is on his way to Jairus' home to heal a dead girl. He gets interrupted along the way by a woman, and he heals her disease. So we're going to just revisit that for just a few minutes here. I'm going to diminish myself here so that we can advance the slides, and you'll be able to see everything correctly. So remembering kind of Mark's version, and when Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered about him, and he was beside the sea. A ruler of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and seeing him, fell at his feet and implored him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, so that she may be made well and live." And Jesus went with him. And we talked about how when faith calls on Christ, he comes and he's there and he's present. Well, before he leaves, Jesus visits this woman again and says, "Take heart, daughter." In other words, have courage, daughter. Your faith has made you well. And instantly, the woman was healed. Well, one of the things we see here is that, Matthew really steps up here. Matthew adds the words "take heart and courage" that Mark didn't, which is really surprising. So Matthew's getting really good. Take heart, courage. Courage is such an important part of faith. And Bernard said, "This is Jesus' call to keep on living the life of expectancy she started when she came to him in the first place. If I could only touch the hem of his garment, I know I would be healed." And her faith had made her well. As we go on, we see that the girl was restored to life. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he said, "Go away, for the girl's not dead. She's sleeping." I think it's interesting, what people would call flute players to come mourn. They'd pay them, they'd mourn, there'd be a big commotion because they were dead. Well, he sends them away. And the other thing he does there is he brings into the room with him his disciples. And he takes them in, that's reported by Mark and Luke. He takes them in with him, but he sends the other people out. It's sort of like faith comes in, but unbelief stays out, stays on the outside. Well, they laughed at him. But when the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And a report of this went through all the district. That's really, really amazing just to think. And he just took her by the hand and she rose right up. Only God could do that. Some things to ponder. What Mark and Luke sort of stressed that while Jesus was still talking to the woman healed from the disease, an emissary from Jairus' home brought word that the girl is dead. Jesus immediately sensed the father's fear and anxiety. And he says to him, "Don't be afraid, only believe." In other words, have courage. Don't be afraid, only believe. Jesus, Mark and Luke tell us, not only does remove the professional mourners, but he brings in his disciples. All three of those gospel writers, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, heard Jesus say, "The little girl is not dead, but sleeping, just sleeping." A couple good quotes. Jerome translated the scriptures into the Latin Vulgate Bible. "She's not dead, but sleeps, because to God all things live." And Ambrose and other early churchmen, "Where faith in the resurrection is present, we do not have a species of death, but of resting." This is my second great-grandmother's tomb. And grave. And this is her tombstone. And Dolores and I stopped by there about 5 years ago, and it was all covered with moss, and we cleaned it up. And we discovered some really neat things. Like at the very top, it says the flowers fade, but the fragrance remains, which is just beautiful, isn't it? And then at the very bottom, I wish you could see it. I was hopeful that it would come through, worked on it, but didn't quite get there. It says, she sleeps in Jesus. And that just really hit me. It was so beautiful to think of that. She's not dead. She sleeps in Jesus, just like that little girl. And will be there at the great resurrection. So I just had to share that little bit of my stuff with you. So Jesus is showing that death is not so absolutely final. His words, do not be afraid, have courage. We also see that there are 3 resurrections in the gospel in ascending order. From the bed, this little girl. From the funeral gurney where the widow's son is being carried out on a gurney because he's dead. He is resurrected. And Lazarus from the grave. And he says, Lazarus, come forth. And Lazarus comes up and out of the grave. And he's wrapped in all the grave bandages and everything. And you know why he had to say Lazarus? Because if he'd have just said, come forth, all the graves would have opened and people would have come out. So it's the power of God for salvation, right? So anyway, the Christian conviction is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. A diseased woman in courage believed. A father believed Jesus was stronger than death, and their faith was honored. This is our hope too, as we believe in his word, that whoever believes in me, even though he dies, yet shall he live. For I am the resurrection and the life. And what we've seen in these stories really is beautiful. We've seen that the king, wherever Jesus goes, the kingdom of God goes with him. The kingdom of God goes with him to show that God is gracious and merciful. And also that he's capable. He's capable of raising the dead. He's capable of restoring the disabled, and healing the sick, and banishing the demons. So go, be strong and courageous in your faith, and have a great week. God bless you. Take care.